time to try a new ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream.
Parasocial.
Winston, come give me a hug. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And I'm Nick, and this is Winston. Winston, do you have anything you'd like to say? Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks for dropping in.
Thanks for dropping in and messing up everything.
Literally our entire setup. Oh no.
It's all good. It's all good. Tell the people... There we go.
Tell the people?
Tell the people who we are. What we're doing.
Yeah. This is Ice Cream Parasocial, the podcast that talks about as many different the podcast that talks about as many different topics as there are flavors of ice cream. We did talk about a podcast once.
We did.
That was one of the topics.
Yeah.
That was an ice cream flavor at one point.
Yeah.
Maybe this is my ADHD talking, but if podcasts were ice cream, what do you think it would taste like?
I don't know. Neapolitan, I guess? Because
Nice.
there's a bunch of different flavors.
Yeah, because there's like different subjects and stuff. That's good. That's good. Yeah, anyways.
So today we're just going to let our ADHD run wild because it's been a stressful week.
Yeah.
And, like, we kept trying to come up with stuff to do to be, like, distracting. And it just wasn't.
It just wasn't.
It just wasn't.
Yeah, like I was sick for I don't know why I said that like it was a question. I was sick for a couple of days this week. And by a couple I mean like 3, so like half of this week.
I mean, yeah.
And a little bit of today.
Yeah.
Probably because of election stress.
Yeah,
Almost.
Stress has, like, wrecked us both this week.
Yeah. Like, to the point that I was like, if it weren't for the fact that Nick and I both kind of have, like, chronic illnesses, I would have been like, I was sick this week. We should probably take this week off. And then it was like, if every time I'm sick, we take a week off, we'll take all the weeks off.
Right. Yeah, same. Like, I'm starting to develop a cough again, and I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me?
If you don't.
I'm just like, I have so much shit I need to do. Can we not? And then, like, with all of the election stress and, like, personal life stress, like, after a bunch of stuff started to get cleared up, I just passed out. I just fell asleep. And that's what my body does when, like, stress happens and is then released, is I just sleep.
Yeah.
When we first moved out here after, like, all of the planning and all of the driving that we did to move out here, I think I just slept for like a week straight.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that's kind of what, to part the veil a little bit. That's sort of what we thought we'd talk about today is the shittiest house episode, the shittiest Scooby-Doo episode, stress.
Yeah.
It's
because it's so unavoidable right now. And
yeah.
This episode probably won't like be about stress the whole time, but that's why I was just like, I just want to talk about how fucked up it is that like stress just ruins your body.
Right. Yeah.
And even once stress is like released, that kind of the like weird shit that it does.
Right.
Because for me, it just makes like it feels like it ramps up my ADHD really bad, and it doesn't matter what I do to try to remedy it. Like, it doesn't matter if I take my medicine. I'm just distracted but faster.
I feel it.
Like with the election stuff, I tried to take Adderall so that I could focus and like work on the stuff that I need to work on, and it just made it so that I was refreshing that page even more because it was all I could think about. And the only thing that got me to stop fucking like refreshing that page on Google and like checking in on stuff and, you know, going down this cycle is to go and play Among Us because I physically had to engage and like I couldn't just be like, oh well, like I'll just check one more time really quick. You know what? It's been like 5 minutes. I can just check really quick. Like I had to put all of my focus into, you know, playing Among Us and like, especially when I found a couple of different groups that I could do voice chat with, because I couldn't just be like, oh well, like in a public server you can just go and play with a different group afterwards if you like decide that you don't want to do that. Like you'd rather just kind of refresh a bunch of times instead of playing that round.
Which is pretty much every time.
Which is pretty much
in
every time.
Public servers.
Yeah, public servers are awful.
Anyway.
But, like, finding some groups to play Among Us with and doing voice chat and having some, like, social interaction was the only way for me to pull away from it. And I felt so guilty for not getting work done that, like, this episode's coming out on Monday. We're recording Saturday night, and I'm gonna edit it a little bit to sound better, but like usually I cut out our rambling, and that's not happening. You're getting
the full ramble.
You are getting the raw ADHD experience.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, what stress does to your body is really insane.
It's fucked up. Yeah, like I feel like stress is one of those things where for the longest time I kind of equated stress having an effect on my body with the effects on my body not being real.
Right.
Because that's sort of how a lot of like doctors had talked about it in the past. And I think that's sort of, it became kind of like a trigger for me almost to be like, no, this isn't stress related. Like,
Right.
why would that be stress related? You know, this is like a real thing that's happening to me and it like hurts and it feels awful. But then it's just like getting to a point where I have like a better medical team around me and like, you know, better healthcare in general. Like I'm able to kind of take that a little bit better and just be like, yeah, things can be like triggered by stress and still be extremely distressing and painful and like harmful. But it took me so long to get there because I would have stuff happen like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, like we thought you had appendicitis earlier this year.
Yeah, we thought that that I had appendicitis because I had like this horrible like stabbing pain in my like right abdomen. And it was just like, it was so bad that in the middle of my workday, my boss, like, I didn't know who to text about it even. So I just like texted her and she called me a lift because she was like, you know, I don't want you to have to take transit all the way to the fucking hospital, you know, even getting to go to you or like getting to go to the car. She was just like, no, you gotta go, dude. But I'm not going to make you take an ambulance, you know? And I get there and like I have all these tests done and everything, and it turned out that I had like mesenteric lymphadenitis or whatever.
How did you remember that?
Because I look it up all the time.
Okay.
And basically it's kind of like when you get an infection of some kind, whether it's like stomach flu or like a respiratory infection or something like that, and it like gets into your lymph nodes and it just like inflames the shit out of them. And most of the time it's just connected to that, but it's one of those things that can happen if you're stressed out, because it like fucks up your immune system to be stressed out. And it's such a like fucked up thing that like, you know, another thing that I deal with a lot is that I feel like kind of kicked off my anxiety with and sort of animosity towards I think it's stress thing.
My mic just fell. Hold on.
Oh no.
We're just gonna lay him down.
Lay him down. Do 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 do.
Are you singing the Mario?
Oh, probably. I thought I was just making something up, but that could also be it. You know, sometimes you think you like made up a song and then it's like, oh no, that exists.
Okay, we're back. Sorry.
Okay, cool. But yeah, the one that was like the most fucked up that kind of gave me my sort of adversity to that
Yeah.
was in like 2018 when I started having these things that I'm still not 100% sure on what they are. Because it still happens every once in a while, but not nearly as bad as it was in 2018.
Yeah.
And there've been like a variety of like wild guesses where it's just like, was that like a seizure? What, like there was a period of
Right.
time where I was like, am I narcoleptic? Like, you know,
Right.
my most recent thing is I'm just like, was that like a really bad asthma attack? Like what's
Yeah.
happening? Where I would just basically almost like borderline pass out, like just fall on the floor and just like, you know, like jerk around for a little bit almost.
Yeah.
Like almost seizure like, but then like they couldn't detect anything from it.
Right.
And the thing that would happen if I would go to the emergency room was they'd just be like, oh, well, that's,
I don't know.
well, we didn't like find anything. So we think it's just like stress.
Right.
Or like, you know, oh no, the one that really pissed me off is I remember getting like really bad stabbing pains in my chest.
Right.
And going to urgent care for it because I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on. This was right after I started doing peer work in like 2017,
Right.
and them like sending me to the hospital because they were like, what's going on? And then like after all of this like hubbub being like super, you know, feeling really dismissive, like, oh, you have pleuritis and it's probably because of stress or whatever. Anyways, go home. Which it's like, on one hand, it's a real relief to hear that you're not like dying of a heart attack.
Right.
But on the other hand, a lot of the time people tend to talk about things that are induced by stress by being like, just chill out, man.
Yeah, just have you tried taking like a bubble bath?
Right, like right, like all of the like release paperwork is always like, have you tried cognitive behavioral therapy? And it's like, only like every week since I was 12.
Right.
But sure, dude.
Just actually that's like my whole job is to teach people cognitive behavioral therapy.
Right.
But okay.
I teach people advanced cognitive behavioral therapy.
Right. Well, sure, yeah, let me just try
God.
that.
Like, it's literally so much one of those things where I've had everything from like stuff that it's just like, yeah, the lining of where your lungs are gets inflamed and makes you feel like you're having a heart attack, to like your lymph node makes you feel like you have appendicitis. So like, you know, having what I'm pretty sure was like a really bad asthma attack, like a series
Yeah.
of them, where I'm just like, well, that's fun. Just like almost passing out because of stress. And the thing that happened with the election that made me miss a few days of work was, I think, my like adenitis, like lymphadenitis thing
Yeah.
hit again, because I was having the exact same pain in the exact same way.
Yeah.
And
it's
it was
just like there's nothing you can do except for
It's
kind of wait it out.
right, like literally the way that you treat it is just taking ibuprofen and just chilling, and
Yup.
it's just dealing with like all of this pain. And I would have been more concerned about it if it wasn't that like every time I thought about something stressful, it felt like
It
just,
would
like,
just immediately
worse.
stab, yeah.
yeah, like it felt like there was just like a knife just resting in there. And then every
Right.
time I would like, I don't know, look at like how Georgia was doing on the vote count,
Oh my
it
God,
would just
Georgia.
go like, and I'd be like, oh no, oh no, I gotta close this. Fine.
Right. And I think that it didn't help that like it's not just elections that are going on. Obviously, that's like the biggest, scariest, most stressful thing that happened this week. But like there was also, we had to deal with some tax stuff from earlier in this year.
Oh God,
because
yeah.
they thought that like somebody had stolen our identities and it was actually just us.
Yeah, we had to like tear apart our whole apartment for like
to find
looking
my-
for like
my
some
W-2.
W-2s.
And
And
like
it's just like,
we found a van that we really like that we want to get, and we're working towards, trying to figure that out, and going down. We went down and saw it, and it's like, it's been a lot this week.
It's been a big week, and like stuff in Oregon is like popping off with like COVID and everything, and just like also at the exact same time being like, oh, I'm getting my pulmonary testing next Tuesday.
Oh yeah, for seeing just how bad your asthma is.
Yeah, right, as like all these record-setting things are happening, and I'm just like,
yeah, it's just like
vibing.
there's so much going on, and I genuinely almost was like, all right, we can't do the podcast this week, but it's just like, okay, but every time that something like that happens, are you just gonna not be able to do anything?
Right.
And I think that the really frustrating thing is that I love it. I love doing the podcast. I love making content and everything. And so it's like I want to be able to push through, and it's just been fucking impossible this week until
It's been hard.
literally sitting down and doing it right now.
Right, and now it feels very easy.
And now it feels really easy, which is just, I mean, that's ADHD in a nutshell.
Pretty
but,
much. That's just doing anything.
But also just kind of this, like, I couldn't fucking move.
Yeah. Literally.
And, like, I don't want this to be a super, like, downer episode, but just, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just really wild because it's, like, anything that I didn't love as much as I love doing this, I would have just been like, fuck it, like, I'll do it later.
I'm good.
Like, no, whatever, like, nobody even listens, and, like, we'll do it later. And I'm just like, no, but, like, I
Our
genuinely
17
love
people
this.
will be very sad.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, but, like, I love doing this, and I want to continue doing this, and, like, yeah, this has been the most stressful year of my life, but, like, if I can pull myself together enough to make something during the most stressful year of my life,
Yeah.
then, like, I'm gonna be fine every other year,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah. And like,
And that's just been a lot of, like, driving force of just this, like, no, but, like, I really do genuinely enjoy this, and, like, I don't, not every single episode needs to be the best episode, and it, like, not every single episode has to top the last one.
yeah.
Fucking nobody liked our political episode.
I know.
We didn't push it very hard either, because
Yeah. I didn't, like, it's not like
we were already so fucking stressed out
yeah.
by the time that it released that it was
Yeah.
just like, all right, well, I'm shutting down now.
Right. Like, I think the funniest thing was that, like, when we recorded it, like, the thought process was kind of like, yeah, well, there's nothing to really think about besides the election, so I want to do something election related. And then when it
Right.
came out, I was like, I don't want to think about the election anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no. I
Yeah.
miscalculated. I was just like,
I did
oh.
all of the calculations, but boy, am I bad at math.
Literally.
So I'm just like, okay, well, like, what do I want to talk about today? And I'm just like, how fucked up it is that I have a body. All right,
Right.
let's talk about that then. Like, if that's what I want to talk about, then that's what I want to talk about. Like, people can listen, people don't have to.
Right.
But, like, that's what I want to talk about. And that's what, like, this specific podcast is just whatever the fuck I want. And so,
Yeah. And like, you know, if one of those flavors of ice cream is prunes, then one of those flavors of ice cream is prunes, you know? And,
yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, prune ice cream.
fuck yeah, prune ice cream. But, that's so funny. But yeah, like, I'm almost wondering if even it might be cool to think about, like, even just so it's like, I don't know, there's an arc to it.
Right.
To even think about some of the stuff that it's like, how do you know when What are some things that you kind of like pick up on in your body when you're like experiencing stress that kind of like tip you off, and like what do you do to kind of take care of yourself, either mentally or physically?
Right. It's really hard because excuse me. For me, stress and a fibro flare feel very similar. And so it's really difficult, and it's also really difficult because it depends on what I'm stressed out about. Where if my stress is coming from my ADHD giving me executive dysfunction on a thing, then either calling someone in to help me like get the thing done, like making a phone call and like having you start the call or do the call for me.
Yeah.
Or just like, yeah, like even, you know, straight up fucking like having you do something for me that like my executive dysfunction just won't fucking let me do.
Definitely.
Like if that's the situation, then like getting somebody else to just fucking do it or start it or
like there've definitely been situations in which it's been like, all right, I'm gonna punch the phone number into the phone and I'm gonna hand you the phone.
Yeah.
And then that's been the thing that's worked, you know?
Yeah, you know, because just so much of my phone anxiety is right around that time of like starting the call or like of like typing in the phone number and like pressing the button and then not immediately pressing the hang up button.
Yeah.
I don't know why I do that, because like I'll get onto the phone and I'm fine, but like there's just this like signal in my brain that's like, no, hang up.
No, you gotta hang up right
so
now.
it's like if it's one of those things where it's like executive dysfunction or anxiety in that way, then like, you know, getting somebody's help to do it. But like with anxiety regarding the election, the best thing for me to do was to go and like play Among Us and just like physically get the fuck out and like go and have social interaction in a way that's good for me, because like I really hate talking just to talk, which is so funny with having a podcast. But like, you know, I'm definitely a lot more chatty when it comes to like playing games with people, or like if we're like doing a thing.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when there's something to talk about.
Yeah, like I am 100% the kind of person that like on a first date we're not just gonna go get dinner, because we'll just sit there and be like, so food, right?
I like a spaghetti.
I like a spaghetti.
Mama's ragu.
Like it'll be like movie and then dinner, or like you know, games and dinner, because it's like then we can talk about how you were an asshole at Monopoly, or like we can talk about how bad you are at lying in Among Us.
Exactly.
And like anyways but the other stuff, like how I can tell, it's really, really hard for me to tell between stress and a fibro flare or like an ADHD flare. I've never heard anybody call it a flare before, but like that's what it feels like. Is like
yeah,
the same as,
totally.
like,
It's just extra like,
yeah,
I don't want to do anything.
right. I think one of the cats is getting into shit, but it's fine.
She's fine.
She can get into shit right now. It's really difficult because like both ADHD and fibro like make me extremely fatigued. And then stress also makes me extremely fatigued, and so it's difficult. It kind of is like, I can tell that it's stress if it feels like I'm having fibro and ADHD flares, and they're like combining into like a mega flare, and then I'm
Definitely.
like,
The odds.
perhaps my mega flare.
This mega evolution might actually just be.
Right, and then it usually takes me a good couple of days of dealing with it to even be like, maybe I'm stressed out. And And then it takes another couple of days after that to realize, like, what specific thing is stressing me out and what I might be able to do to, like,
Yeah.
help myself. Because, like, I definitely started feeling really, really fucking stressed out, like, last weekend.
Hmm.
And, like, a little bit, well, even, yeah, definitely before that. Like, just because we set up to go see the van last Friday
Yeah, that sounds right.
or something.
Hmm.
And then, or maybe we set it up, I don't know.
I think it was like last Saturday night.
Yeah, it was like so I guess, last weekend. Like, as soon as we set that up, I started.
Yeah.
And, like, looking back, I can see, like, what it was that started it. It was just like, oh, okay, so I started getting migraines around then, which is why I'm wearing my migraine glasses now. And also because I was too lazy to change my glasses. But, like, my head started to hurt more, and, like, I get migraines, like, almost every day, so it's not that deep. But I started getting, like, 2 migraines a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
a little much.
That's not what usually happens. It's usually, like, 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I started, like, really, really needing my afternoon nap.
Yeah.
Which sounds so childish, and, like, I hate to even bring up that it sounds childish, because that's annoying. Because it's not childish. I'm a human that needs naps.
Yeah, definitely. That's just how your body works.
That's just how my body works. And, like, but, like, I really, really started needing to nap in the afternoon, and, like, and not really having a lot of choice about it. Because usually I have a little bit of a choice about it. Well, not always, but, like, usually I'm like, okay, so I can either, like, spend the rest of the afternoon being really unproductive and, like, kind of farting around, but, like, maybe go to bed a little bit earlier. Or I can take my nap.
Exactly.
And, like, maybe actually do something this evening and go to bed a little bit later. And, like, but, like, this whole last week has been like, no, I'm gonna black out. It's a matter of if I'm gonna black out while I'm sitting in this chair and hit my head on the floor, or if I go and make myself comfortable in my bed first.
Right, literally.
And just this, like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's definitely what started to kind of, like, tick me off to it. But, like, I don't think that I realized that I was stressed out until, like, Wednesday. And then we played Among Us with some of your friends on Thursday evening, right?
Wasn't that Tuesday
was it-
night? Because I thought it was election night.
Oh, you're right. It was election night. I think that. So yeah, so that is what happened. We played Among Us with some of your friends on election night, and I think that being able to be distracted with playing Among Us and then, like, coming off that high, I guess, I was like, oh, I've been really fucking stressed out.
Oh, I'm fucked up.
And, like, this is the only thing that got me to, like, be away from this for a little bit.
Definitely.
And then I started, like, finding other groups to go play with, which was really nice. And, like, it was the only thing that got me to stop checking up and being like, okay, so, like, Georgia hasn't updated, but, like,
Right.
we're supposed to hear back from them and, like, really soon. And, like, Nevada is going really, really slow. And just, you really got to use the litter box right now?
Oh my god.
It's, you know what? It's whatever. And, like, I am definitely still really, really stressed out, and I can tell because, oh, that's the other thing, is my, like, muscle spasms and, like, tremors have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it's been acting
And,
up.
like, I can feel it right now, where, like, I can feel, like, the backs of my arms shaking, and I'm like, why?
What am I
not,
doing
like,
to you?
cold now. I was, like, cold earlier, but I'm not cold. I'm not scared, and yet I can feel myself just, like, shivering like a chihuahua.
Oh.
And like my body keeps like forcing me to dab.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm too old to dab.
I'm not a Twitch streamer.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I've been thinking about streaming Among Us, but like literally that's the only thing I want to play. And just like that's the only the same as like what I was saying a minute ago. Like I don't really like. It's really hard for me to talk just to talk. I need something to talk about.
Definitely.
And like granted, like playing games is like something to talk about. But if I were to do like solo games, I'd probably just like
Yeah, for sure.
go totally silent. And so I'm like, oh, I need games that I can play with other people. But then that means I have to talk to other people.
Then that means talking to people.
And like having to like coordinate, and I'm like, ugh, never mind.
That's a lot.
But yeah, so I can tell that I'm like still really stressed out, but I know that I'm getting better because after I heard about Biden winning president-elect, and after we started to get some stuff sorted out in personal life, I slept most of today. I slept most of yesterday.
Yeah.
And like I'm probably gonna sleep most of tomorrow, even though I really don't want to. And I had plans for tomorrow.
It ain't.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then like probably next week I'll be okay. I don't even know if that's like showing up in the audio, but just Ani, honey, I think you covered it.
Ani, please. We're trying to do something here, man.
Ma'am! Ani!
Ani, please.
Thank you.
There she goes. Anyway.
Rupert never covers anything that he does in the litter box, and so I think Ani tries to overcompensate.
Oh yeah, I think that's a good point. That's probably what she's doing. Is she's just like, no one fucking cleans up in here ever.
Yeah, she's like doing that mom thing where, where they like slam shit around while they clean, and they're just like, nobody ever fucking.
Oh my god.
Anyways. Same questions at you.
Same questions at me. I feel like a lot of the time when I notice myself being stressed out, a lot of the time it's kind of like I notice this extra layer of like, it's kind of like you were saying with like the executive dysfunction thing.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I have developed a specific strategy for figuring out if I'm burnt out at work, and it's like if I get my notes done on time, like if I do my documentation like at all before I'm like down to the wire with it, then it's like, okay, I'm probably pretty good. But if I put it off until like I'm about to leave, then I'm like, all right, you gotta check in with yourself now.
Right.
Like that's one of my big habit ones, or just not being able to focus on anything like more than usual.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time just doing things very slowly is like the other thing that really gets me, is just like taking like 10 years to just like, like going into the bathroom and just staring into the mirror for like 10 minutes and just like, not in like a depression way. Well, maybe, but not in like the stereotypical depression way, but just sort of like,
just total space cadet.
Yeah, just like,
yeah.
All right, now I'm done.
I feel like it's been really obvious that like our both of our like ADHDs have been triggered by stress a lot more, because somehow I found my way to ADHD TikTok, and B, TikToks from that realm are all that we reference.
Oh God, you're so right.
I didn't realize until just now when I was like, haha, Space Cadet. Because there's
the one with the person doing the like ways you go to the bathroom with ADHD, and one of them's just like Space Cadet, where they just like wander down and just sort of like look around. Like, how's it going?
And just slowly but surely end up in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
And like that's what we've both just kind of been like. Every once in a while, we'll just like look at the other one and see them just like,
What are you doing?
and we'll just be like, "Hey, Space Cadet," and they're like, "What?
Hey.
What's going on?"
It'll just be like minute 45, like, hey, have you gotten in the shower yet? And it's like,
Don't call me out.
I could have been calling me out either.
Well, it's just that I took a shower like specifically right before.
Yeah. To be true.
And I spent so long before like actually getting in and you're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, have you gotten in the shower yet? Because I need to use the bathroom."
Can I get in there before you get in the shower? Oh, goodness. But yeah, like, that's like one of my like behavioral things. And then like in my body, we've already kind of talked about how fucked up my body is, but just like, you know, I also notice it a lot in that I tend to get a lot more headaches and eat either a lot more or a lot less than usual.
Oh yeah, I'm the same. I've been fucking stuffing my face, and I'm just
Yeah.
like,
During the election, I've been like, just, I can't stop, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I have not had like a normal eating, or normal for me at least, you know, like eating schedule, like the whole time. It's just been
Yeah.
like, all right, now time for my like 8th full meal of the day. It's time.
Right.
But then other times when I'm stressed, it'll be hard to remember to eat anything because my mind's just so consumed by whatever is happening.
yeah.
But I think also just with the fact that I've been so like sick, I think my body was like, oh God, we need energy to heal whatever is happening to
Yeah.
you. And like, that's something that, you know, I had surgery earlier this year, and something I've gained a lot of knowledge from that has been weirdly useful outside of surgery about like just self-care and everything. And one of those things is just thinking about how, you know, sometimes when you're sick, you just eat more and that's fine. And it's just like your body needs calories and like nutrition and shit to do the body thing. And like you burn a lot of calories just feeling feelings and being in pain. And, you know, that's a real thing that happens.
Yeah.
You know, and that like being in tune with your body is being responsible. It's not like, you know, like I felt so much better taking like a couple days off of work than I feel like I would have like last year, just because of like my experience having surgery being like, no, it's good, and like it's the responsible good thing to do if you're able to take time off of work and you have that capacity to do that. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Absolutely.
You can do that. But yeah, like that's so many of the ways that I can kind of tune into that. And I feel like the ways that I tend to deal with it, it's so funny. I've noticed that I have like kind of a curve when it comes to like baking,
Oh yeah, you've been
where it's
baking up a fucking storm.
yeah.
To the point that like what we did for Halloween was we were like undead bakers.
Yeah. And it's so funny because like I've noticed that it's like if I'm doing really well, then I'm baking a lot. And then if I kind of like start to not feel super good, then I'll make a lot of like microwave meals and like I won't like cook as much. And then if I start doing real shitty, I'll start cooking a lot again. And it's just like that's just my like coping mechanism, which is like pretty
Yeah.
good as far as coping mechanisms go.
Oh yeah, it could be a lot worse.
It could be a lot worse, but it's just so funny being like, all right, I have like 4 baked goods. Do you want pancakes today?
Oh yeah.
Does that sound good? Would you like that? And also just like finding things to watch. Like, I think the funniest thing was just like my lymphadenitis like going, because it was such a like just scale, like such a like tangible thing to monitor. Because sometimes like with headaches, it's like, you know, you could sometimes make the argument of like, oh well, you were just distracted, so like that's what it was. But like this is such a like present pain that feels so like tangible and like there, that it's like you can't really distract from that. Where I would go from like checking all of the election results and everything and just have this like big old stab going on. And then I would go and my big thing that I'd been doing to deal with stuff is I've been watching a lot of the Game Grumps playthrough of Danganronpa. And just like, it's so funny because I'd like be like, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. And then I'd be like, I'm going to check on the election results. And it'd be like, and I'd be like, fine, I'm going to go back to Danganronpa.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to those good boys.
I'm gonna go back to the boys. Like, I'd been watching a lot of them and like Eddie Burback, but like especially Game Grumps, which is so funny because like usually that's a thing that the two of us watch together, like especially right before bed. But I've been watching a lot of them by myself.
Yeah, it's one of the first times that you've watched them by yourself. Like, there's been like one or two things that you've watched by yourself, but like,
I've been watching them a lot by myself lately, and it's been very weirdly healing. I'm just like, gotta listen to the soothing dulcet tones of those boys.
Well, and that's, that's funny because I'm doing the same thing with Corpse Husband, where I'm just like,
yeah.
It's funny because I definitely have a crush on him because I am a human.
Because, you have a beating heart.
Right. Like, but, like, I also just so badly want to be him.
Yeah.
And, like, I see so many similarities between us with, like, both being chronically ill and, like, having anxiety and stuff and just, like...
He's a very good boy.
He's a very good boy. And just, like... And I know that probably sounds really, like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like, I don't know, like very like up on my own high horse to be like, I'm just like this really famous person that's doing really well on like, but like I genuinely like.
You identify a lot with him.
I identify a lot with him, and I like see a lot of myself in him, and seeing people give him all of the support that they're giving him. Yeah. And seeing him talk about things so casually, where he's just like, oh yeah, like, I'm sorry, like, if I'm a little weird, like, I've got an eye patch on because my eye just decided to not fucking work. That happens to me.
Yeah. Or even, like, those things where he'll just be like, guys, I'll be right back. I think I have to go throw up right now.
Yeah, and just be, like, super fucking casual of just, like, oh, yep, like, this is just a life thing that I deal with. And coming back and, like, having people be concerned but still listen when he's like, no, I'm fine, this is just how it is. Right. And, like... hearing him talk about how nervous he is and how his like hands are shaking, but then like he's still doing it, and like getting to watch his streams and like hear how quiet he is in the beginning and like how all he really wants to talk about is how nervous he is, and like he's like, I don't know, and then by the end he's like really confident and loud and laughing, and it's just this like, oh, okay, like, I can do all of that, too, and just, like, I don't know, like, it's been really, really comforting to watch someone that I identify with, like, so wholeheartedly, because it's, like, there's other people that, like, there are certain things that I identify with, but, like, with him, it's, like, everything.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like it's also really useful, too, to kind of, like, have... the fact that like nobody knows what he looks like, right? Where it's just like you can't even, because I feel like sometimes when it comes to like celebrities or like internet people or whatever, internet celebrities, it's easy to kind of like downplay that or whatever and just be like, oh well, like they can do that, but that's just because they're really hot, and it's just like nobody fucking knows,
right? It's like, yeah, a lot of people. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are, like, attributing a lot of his success to his voice. And I feel like his voice is part of it because it's so different than, like, his personality. But, like, I think that people really went to go check him out because of the way that he was playing these games, and like
Yeah.
I feel like his voice could be fucking whatever, but like it definitely made it
It's attention grabbing.
Yeah, it's attention grabbing, but like he could have fucking whatever voice
Yeah.
and still to pull off the shit that he pulls off playing Among Us, like
Yeah. Like, you can't just be like whoever, you know?
yeah,
Like, you know, I was watching, I was telling you about this, but I wasn't telling them about this. But I was watching a Court Reezy video that she put out today about Corpse Husband, which was very adorable, and I love it, and I love her. But anyway, and something that she mentioned is that there's like some people on TikTok who are trying to like, at least there's like one dude on TikTok who's like trying to parlay off of that success by being like, oh, look at my hands, look, I can do what deep voice do, and it's just like, that's not what it is. And like I feel like that kind of goes to show so much of like, that's not what the like, you know, like factor X is, like that's not it at all. And like she was kind of talking about how like, you know, in one of the first videos that blew up for him, he like admitted he was the imposter in Among Us, and everyone was like, yeah, so anyway. And it's just like people just like having him around, and like he just has a voice that you trust, and it just kind of makes you feel good to listen to, and you just like it. And it's just like he's a very like specific person. And it's just so funny, like seeing people try and like replicate it and be like, yeah, so it's just this one thing, and it's just like, no, not really. And I feel like having so much of that kind of, you know, be in someone, and then like having the aesthetics not really be the thing that necessarily matters the most in that combination, even if it is like what maybe draws you in at first, is just like, I feel like it's really cool and affirming, and has kind of made me feel better even a little bit too, as like a person on the internet. It's just being like, you know, sometimes it's easy to get wrapped up in looks no matter like who you are. But then just being like, we don't even know what this guy looks like, and everyone's still just like, oh, he's so cool. We love him so much.
Like it's so crazy because it's like the way that I look, and you know, with my weight and everything, has been so big of a thing that has stopped me from doing the things that I want to do. And like, and you know, the way that my voice sounds, even, you know, like there's, with being trans, like there's so much shit that triggers dysphoria and like triggers this like really uncomfortable feeling, and like, you know, Winston just yawned, and it's so cute. Every time he yawns, he sounds like he's screaming. He's just like, but anyways, like there's just all of this like, oh, like I'm gonna go on the internet and like everybody's gonna be like, ugh, you're fat and ugly and stupid and like, ugh, you sound like a girl, and it's just like, it literally doesn't fucking matter. Like,
right.
You know, and it's just like nobody really knows what he looks like. And everybody is just like, no, like we love you because you're cool. You're
like, you.
You're so genuine, and like I just being able to see him have success, and also being able to hear him talk about that success, and it's so fucking like sad because in his stream that he did yesterday, he kept talking about like wanting to get merch out before he becomes irrelevant, and I'm like, no, I think that you tapped into something like really genuine in people.
Yeah.
That like, I don't think that you're ever gonna be irrelevant. Like, yeah, maybe like the hype will die down because it's the internet, but like, I don't think that his life is ever gonna be the same. Right. And even that of just like, you know, if just the idea of like how much your life can change based on like one decision that you make.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just like if he had said no
Mm-hmm.
to joining and playing Among Us, like,
Right. It would have
You
been so
know.
easy to do that.
like, he would just be, like, back, like, going through and, like,
Sorry.
the animals are, like, the pets.
They're going wild right now.
Winston, we let him finally have, one of the, like, slippers of Alex's that he doesn't use. And he just tosses it around and, like, he doesn't chew on it. He just,
He just loves to throw it in the air and just flop it around.
like, slipper.
It's so weird. And he doesn't like other shoes. He just likes
No,
this
just
one.
this one slipper. But anyways, corpse. But just, like, and hearing him talk about, like, the really, really shitty year that he's had and, like,
Mm-hmm.
how just, you know, basically overnight, like, everything's changed. I'm just like, that's the shit that I fucking love. Like,
Right.
about the internet, you know, and just about these kind of content creation jobs of just, like,
Mm-hmm.
man, like, fucking anything can happen
Right.
if you just keep going and, like, something eventually will happen.
Exactly. Like, I think that's the
Yeah.
coolest thing. It's just like, something can happen to you.
I'm just so fucking proud of him.
I know, right? It's so cool.
And it makes it really hard to, like, see a lot of me in him
Mhm.
and be so proud of him and then not be proud of me,
Yeah.
which has been so just, like, mind-boggling. But anyways, we
Anyways.
should probably wrap up soon. Is there anything else you wanted to...
I don't know offhand. I guess maybe what is something that you're gonna do? Because we are hopefully, fingers crossed, gonna be able to do stuff with the van like in the like early next week.
Yeah, I'm trying not to jinx it, but, like,
I know, right?
hopefully we'll have a little announcement.
I know.
So, shh, don't tell anybody, okay?
Nobody tell anyone. But until then, and like now that stress is dying down a little bit, but there's like still stress. What's something that you are gonna do in between now and then to de-stress and show yourself some kindness because it's not over?
I honestly, like, I'm probably gonna play Among Us as soon as we stop recording.
Hell yeah. Nice.
I'm probably, like, that's been so wildly good for me, getting, like, social interaction with not you.
Yeah.
Because I love you, but
Talking to just one person for like, I don't know, like 7 months,
yeah,
8 months.
yeah,
Not the best.
not the greatest. So,
Nice.
yeah, like, I'm probably gonna try to, like, do that more often when I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely going to try to figure out how to get my executive dysfunction to stop in regards to working on things that I want to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's been a lot of stuff that I'm like, I'm gonna do this and this and this, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so do it, bitch.
Okay, so like, well.
And so I'm probably gonna try and spend some time, like, tonight or tomorrow trying to figure out what I can do and, like, what I can, like, ask for help with
Yeah.
to get that shit, like, at least get the ball rolling.
That's a good idea. Hell yeah. Nice.
What about you, bitch?
And for me, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna have a shower tonight. And before that, I'm thinking I might do some makeup or something just for fun.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Got a new palette from ColourPop.
Yeah, you finally got
So,
a new some new makeup for the
finally
first
got
time in 4 years.
Right? Jesus. Honestly. Especially like the fun makeup and not the stuff where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this will literally like hurt you if you don't get it new. And I'll be like, okay, fine. Because like with mascara, it'll like physically pain you or just not work if it's old. But like with like eyeshadow, you can just pretend for a while. But I finally let myself get some new eyeshadow and I'm excited about it.
Hell yeah.
So I'm probably gonna do that. I might make some bread or something tomorrow because
Hell yeah.
I keep wanting homemade bread real bad.
Hell yeah. And the bread that's in our fridge is almost expired. So
Yeah, exactly. So it's perfect. Perfect timing.
all right.
All right. So comment down below. You're gonna.
This is our call to action on how you're gonna take care of yourself.
Be self-compassionate by listening to Ice Cream Parasocial. No. But seriously, whether it's in our comment section or just like in your head, think about what you're gonna do to be nice to yourself, because it's weird times and it's super stressful, and even if you're coming off of the stress, it's still a good time to think about self-compassion. So
yeah.
even if you don't tell us, it's a good time to tell yourself what you're gonna do to just be nice to yourself today or in the next week. Just think about
Or
something
in the
cool.
next 10 years, whenever you've got time.
Whenever you got time, but hopefully pretty soon.
But sooner rather than later, and we would prefer if you commented on our stuff.
And like that,
So if
and
you
like
could just-
told your friends,
Yeah, so if you could just tell your friends about us,
like subscribe,
and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
because this
and,
was a very riveting video. No, it might have been fun. I would have fun.
Well, that's because you're a nerd.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's other nerds. There are dozens of us. Dozens.
It's just you. Hi, Winston. Are you here to say goodbye?
Yeah.
You
he's
said
got
hello.
the-
Let's say goodbye. Come here.
He's got
Give
the
me a hug.
nose poking out.
Give me a hug. Oh, you don't want a hug?
No. That's okay.
Asshole. Okay, well, this has been Ice Cream Parasocial. Thanks for hanging out with
Thanks
us.
for hanging out.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.